Trust Fund at the Central Bank of Kenya to pay a company associated with maize importation cartels in the country. The money was withdrawn and wired to the company trading as Commodities House without the approval of the board. And we're going to table the documents here from the board. This withdrawals goes against Section 4.3, Section 5.1c, 8J, 14, 1 and 2 of the Public Finance Management Strategic Food Reserve Trust Fund Regulation 2015. We are aware that SFR handled the matter of bending bills, but did not approve payment to the maize merchants. The money that has been paid out was earmarked for priority areas such as clearing of debt, or to farmers and purchase of the current crop. We therefore demand the following: that the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Agriculture, Mwangi Kiunjuri, and the Principal Secretary in charge of Crop Development, Professor Amadi Bonga, immediately resigns to pave way for investigations into the illegal payments. 2, that the Director of Criminal Investigations, DCI, and EACC immediately launch investigations into why the payments that, in our opinion, was designed to defraud the taxpayers and hurt farmers were made without the knowledge of SFR board. That the DCI and the EACC probes and hold to account individuals at the CPK who authorized release of cash from SFR account without consent, and ascertaining the existence of board minutes or resolutions authorizing the suspicious withdrawals. That the CS and the PS confirm that the payments to the Commodity House company in advance payment for maize importation. That the SFR board comes clean on whether it authorized the payment, and if not, explain whether they have invited the DCI and the EACC to investigate the loss of cash under their watch. And then that the Treasury ring-fenced, because there is 12 billion that is meant to purchase maize this year. That the Treasury ring-fenced the 12 billion meant for purchase of maize in the last season and proceed of sale of stock held at SFR. And then we are also recommending that SFR regulations 2015 be amended so that SFR becomes a body corporate. And the Section 72G, Section 12.1 of the said regulations be amended to remove the PS for crops as the administrator of the fund and be replaced by the CEO of the fund. I hereby table the document from the chairman, SFR, complaining to the ministry over the unlawful withdrawal of 1.8 billion from Strategic Food Reserve Trust Fund Central Bank account. The information that we have is that the Cabinet Secretary and the Principal Secretary disregarded the opinion of the SFR board. The law is very clear that there is you cannot incur any expense in that account, and unless you get the approval of the SFR board via minutes tabled. So that's why we are here today to call for that the minister immediately resign so that this matter is handled properly by the relevant agencies.
Have been so pronounced about it, and the reasons are bare. We can see that as we are complaining about the farmers' whose a lot of money has already been paid, and we are talking about the backbone of the economy of this country, agriculture. Really, in any other jurisdiction, a person of his status should have resigned by now. I mean, a minister what is told that a decent leader who has overseen a collapse of a major backbone of an economy. We are talking about sugar industry that has collapsed under his watch. We are talking about sorghum, pyrethrum, tea, coffee. They have all collapsed. Now maize is just the last drop. So we are saying as leaders who come from the agriculture-based areas, regions, we are not going to watch as our farmers have cried. As we speak, we are anticipating a harvest, a bumper harvest in the next few months. While in our stores, there's so much maize rotting, others infested by, it's really a paradox. It's a big paradox that we are talking of importing 12 million bags, while we have so much rotting in our stores. Really, this one must stop, and we are demanding by the end of today, KENYATTA really must have stepped down so that investigation is conducted. We find out who are these cartels, because you've seen that this is a ministry that has been held at ransom by cartels, and they have refused to go. And we are demanding the ministry to take full responsibility and to come out clearly and face Kenyans and see Kenyans in the eye that what has gone wrong. And we need actually an intervention, an overhaul of this Ministry of Agriculture, really, because it is really, we've as a country, we've wasted resources in investing even in our budget in the Ministry of Agriculture without any tangible results for the farmers. So I think I will give to my colleagues who are also coming from the regions to say a few words, and then we'll let you media to ask questions.
I think this is an issue that is on non-partisan, because most of us whom you see here, we are all MPs from different parties. But when it comes to issues that are affecting our constituents, it doesn't matter where you are coming from. And on this note, one of the issues that I've seen the CS try to persuade Kenyans is that, and the cartels, that we are going to have food shortage in this country, especially maize shortage. It's not true, because ever since even during Moi's time, when we were facing economic times, we never imported maize. I think it's only in 1980 when we imported maize from the West, when we had the yellow maize. But since that time, we've been able to have enough food. The East African Protocol allows free movement of food within the East African region. If we don't have enough food, the people who are in Uganda and Tanzania can be able to sell their maize freely and move around. And therefore, we should not talk of food shortage. I think this issue of even the price of unga, that it will go up, this is cartels that are working on it to try and psych the Kenyans so that they are able to import food. I think Mwangi Kiunjuri has failed as a cabinet secretary. He's not been able to carry his duties with due diligence. And therefore, if he's not going to resign, I think the president should be able to fire him. And if the president is not going to fire him, then we're going to come up with a vote of no confidence. And we'll come with a motion in Parliament to have him impeached, because these are serious issues. Even as we speak today, ADC farms, Sabwani and Olkadongo, we have information from KEVIS that they have not made the standards for several blocks, about 5 blocks of farms, which are supposed to produce maize seeds. Now, if you fail in KEVIS tests and certification, then it means that we are going to have uncertified seeds being released into the Kenyan market from those farms. And this will lead even into crop failure. One of the agendas for the president, the 4 agendas, is food security. And therefore, you need a cabinet secretary who is able to meet the expectations of not just the agenda of the president, but the expectations of Kenyans in as far as food security is concerned. And on that note, I think, to me and to many of us who are from the North Rift area, Kiunjuri seems to be providing a position for cartels to thrive in this country. And that is not acceptable as members and as people's representatives from the North Rift.
Cereal board zilikataa kununua mahindi yao. Usumbufu uliokuwepo ulisababisha wao kuweka mahindi yao katika magala yao. Na hivi sasa tunashangaa tuna zao ambalo lilikuwepo msimu umepita. Na sasa hivi tunavuna mahindi. Alafu mtu anatutangazia kwenye runinga kwamba sasa kuna tatizo la mahindi nchi hii na tuna haraka sana tunataka tununue mahindi. Wewe unataka ununue mahindi ya kutoka Mexico kusababisha ukuaji wa uchumi wa Mexico, na wewe unaua uchumi wa nchi hii yetu ya Kenya hii. That is economic sabotage, na hatutaweza kukubali sisi kama viongozi. Kwa hivyo tunasema kwamba yale mahindi ambayo yako katika ndani ya nchi tayari yanatoka kwenye mashamba sasa hivi, yanunuliwe yakiisha. Kama kuna upungufu, hakuna sayansi iliyo ngumu sana kwamba ukipanda mahindi tunaweza tukakadiria ni magunia mangapi tutavuna. Kwa hivyo tutaweza kujua kwamba yale yaliyo shambani yanayovunwa sasa hivi yaweze kujulikana kufikia muda fulani yatakuwa yamemalizika kuvunwa. Alafu kama kutakuwa na shortage, basi hapo tunaweza tukasema kwamba shortage iliyopo tunaweza tukanunua mahindi ya kuagiza mahindi kwamba tukaweza kufidia pale ambapo patakuwa kuna ile shortage. Kwa hivyo bila kuenda maneno mengi, tusizungushane hapa. Hili sio swala na mimi nataka kushangaa na vyombo vya upelelezi ambavyo tunavyo, vyombo vya dola ambavyo viko katika nchi hii. Maswala mengine ambaye hayana umuhimu sana yanakimbishwa haraka sana. Lakini swala ambalo ni swala la tumbo ya mwananchi wa Kenya, ili tuweze kutatua tatizo hili la affordable healthcare, lazima ianze kwenye tumbo. Ili tuweze kutatua tatizo la manufacturing, lazima tuanze kwenye tumbo. Ili tutatue tatizo la housing, lazima tunaanza kwenye tumbo. Sasa hatuwezi tukatatua tatizo la tumbo ambalo ni food security, alafu tunasema kwamba tutatatua matatizo ya nchi hii. Hayo ndio mambo ambayo ni mambo nyeti ambayo tunataka tunasema hatutakubaliana nayo. Na kwa sababu tuna viongozi ambao wameliona swala hili mapema, basi ni juu yetu na ni jukumu letu kukemea mapema. Na hili swala halina mambo ya vyama. Ni kwamba wananchi wa Kenya hawawezi kutapeliwa na viongozi wao, na sisi tunakubaliana nao. Hiyo hatutakubali. Asante sana.
President has already said that we want to ensure that we have a food secure country. And food sufficiency can never be imported. You have to produce it locally. Food security can never be imported. You must secure the industry locally. You cannot promote farmers from Mexico and other countries and the cartels who are busy all over. And we've talked about this issue long time. I think this is over now 4 years, 5 years since we from the 11th parliament to now 12th parliament. The cartels are in the ministry. The cartels are in cereals and produce board. The cartels are the millers. The cartels are within us. What we should do as a country is to ensure that people like CS Kiunjuri cannot sit using taxpayers' money to again loot this country, to sabotage the farmers, to sabotage the industry, to collapse the dream, the agenda 4 of the president. You cannot sabotage the presidency while you are claiming to be serving. I think CS Kiunjuri, we started smelling a rat the moment you started lecturing farmers in a way of trying to tell them you need to diversify, because maize is no longer a good business, because the cartels were advising you to do so. I have already started drafting my impeachment motion, and I know history is very clear. Every time I try an impeachment motion, that CS must resign. If you don't resign, you will be waiting members of parliament to give a verdict on it. And I know this is a very clear issue. We cannot allow someone who should be sitting to promote farmers to come and be part of the cartels who are sabotaging. CS Kiunjuri, we are coming. 2-3 days, If you don't resign, the president must relieve you. He has been in public domain. I remember one ASK show in Nairobi, and he repeated it in Mashujaa Day in Kakamega grounds, that you must act or you leave office. It has been long overdue. Please resign. Save me the energy. Please, Kiunjuri, save me the energy, because you will go. It does not matter that we are resuming parliament next week. And that should be the first agenda. It will be top of the basis of parliament. We will not have an individual who, instead of promoting farmers, is part of the cartels who are sabotaging and looting. You know, 1.8 billion is not a small amount. It is $18 million, more than $18 million. And next week they are planning to pay 5 other companies. We are aware. We will not allow you. And we are not losing that 1.8 billion. The government has put recovery strategy. We must recover the entire amount. We need to know the directors who are involved. We need to know.
He wants to help us, and I've always told Kiunjuri, CS, that he has the information of all the people who have been importing maize, all the people who have been importing from the borders. If he was man enough and really wants to clear his name, tell him to print and give us those reports so that the public, and if Kenyan can know who are these people, who are their directors, and what is the purpose of them importing so much maize. The other day he said he wants to import about 12,000 bags, 12.5 million bags of bags. He again changed again to about 19 million bags. Honestly, 19 million bags is about half of what we consume in Kenya for the whole year. What is he trying to do? Is he trying to play with our minds? So we want him to tell us that where does he get these statistics? The other day he said there is so much maize in the country, and that is why he was not able to buy maize from farmers. Simply because he said there was so much maize, he ended up buying only 460,000 bags out of the 2 million that the government was supposed to buy. That money he has, and he has kept it. The farmers were also complaining about getting better prices. He did not do anything about it. I am told that he is struggling to try and import at about 5,000 shillings a bag. Honestly speaking, he paid farmers 2,500. Now he's trying to look for maize at a price of 5,000 bags. What do farmers feel? Farmers are really crying. The president says clearly about the Big Four. And we want to support the president, especially on these issues of corruption. And we want the president to act. Tell him not, we want to tell him to fear nobody. We are supporting him, especially on this thing of cereal, because it is something that has really put us in a lot of problems. I want to challenge the minister. He's telling us that he wants to import maize simply because the price of the supermarket has increased to 120 shillings per 2 kilos. Where did he get the statistics? Has he gone to all the millers and had an audit that how many bags the millers have? Did he do an audit to prove to Kenyans that the maize that he gave out subsidized to millers was actually consumed by Kenyans? Or the millers still have the maize and that's what they are milling? The other day, millers bought maize. When the government offloaded 2 million bags, the millers bought only 1.2 million bags of maize. And they have not even collected that maize. They've collected less than 50% of that 1.2 million bags. Yet the CS is telling us that we don't have enough maize in the country. If there was no maize in the country, would the millers have waited for 2 months to lapse after they've paid for maize at cereal and not collect? Secondly, he tells us that the price at the supermarket is now 120 shillings and it's supposed to be 90 shillings. And he's using that because of supply and demand. I want to challenge Kiunjuri. The prices of milk at the producer price is 25 shillings to 30 shillings per litre. Yet at the supermarket, it is 130 shillings. How come he has not done anything to protect the producer and the consumer? Because you want to tell me that whoever is selling milk at the supermarket at 130 shillings, the cost of just packing it into the packet and pasteurizing it costs 100 shillings. If he feels for the consumer, he should also feel for the producer. So why is he trying to play around with us and tell us that the price of maize has gone, 2 kilo price of maize has gone high?